Welcome to This Week from Blue Mountain Broadcasting. I'm Lynelle Ellis, your host and the president of Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association, and I'm so glad that you've tuned into the show today. We have a very important theme to share with you today. We're going to be talking about what it's like to give over to God our anxieties and stresses, and I am going to be interviewing Dan Gabbert, and he is an expert on doing these things. He is a pastoral, mental, and spiritual health coach. And he's going to be giving some presentations very soon at the Stateline Seventh-day Adventist Church. So you'll want to stay tuned for that interview. And then also we've got very, very important things to share with you during our station news segment. And right now we'll begin with our devotional thought. You know, it's easy to say, well, God's in control. And we often talk using really big words like God's sovereignty or God's omnipotence. But what does it really mean to have God in control in my life? How does that happen practically? I'm one of those people who likes to have everything in order, just the way it's supposed to happen. And I admit I can sometimes be a bit of a control freak. So I have thought about this issue a lot. And in my own experience, I want to keep handing my concerns and my stresses and my anxieties over to God so that He can take care of them. Recently, my daughter asked me how to practically hand over her stresses to God. And that is a good question. It's so easy to say, just give these things to God. In fact, when she asked me that question, I had just reminded her that God told us in the Bible to cast all our cares on Him, for He cares for us. And I suggested to my girl that the way to do this is to pray it. And so we prayed together, releasing the stress to Him. We talked about how giving things over to Jesus doesn't make them go away. It just lets us release the control and gives God the chance to take it from us. After all, He's the powerful one who can hold and handle our problems. I explained to her that it's really an attitude. It's an attitude of giving it over to God. And when you do that, it's not that God makes the homework go away or the friend drama vanish or the after-school work stress disappear, but it does bring a change in our own souls. We find peace. This peace comes from recognizing that we don't have to do life alone. Yes, circumstances around us are often too big for us to handle, but we don't have to handle them. We can let that stress off onto someone else, a very big and powerful someone. Our family has been reading through the book of Job together, and today we finally got to the 38th chapter. We've been looking forward to this moment. Chapter 38 is where God finally answers Job. Wow, it's incredible. God asked Job a lot of questions about how the earth was formed and about the mysteries of space. And of course, Job can't answer these questions. God's not even asking him to. But God is, in beautiful poetry, letting Job know that He is in control. Humans can't do these things, but God can and is. Here's just a short bit of God's questions to Job. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear with its cubs? Do you know the laws of heaven? Can you set up God's dominion over the earth? Of course, Job can't really answer these questions, and he can't do these things. It's God who does them. Yes, God is sovereign in the universe. Yes, he is omnipotent. Yes, we can trust him with all of our concerns. He has lovingly invited us to give our concerns and stresses over to him. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Let's not just talk about it. Let's do it. Let's release the stress to God. He can handle it. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Welcome back. Joining me now is Dan Gabbert, and Dan is a pastoral, mental, and spiritual health coach.
That's right.
I love this title, and I know we're going to explore a lot more about it. You're here in our valley, though, for a very specific reason. What's taking place right now?
I've been invited to present a mental and spiritual health seminar called Biblical Response Therapy, which is a term that I coined many years ago to actually communicate the work that my wife Patsy and I have done in developing this modality.
Biblical response therapy.
Yes.
And I know also there's some flyers that have been around town about this, and it says hope and healing right here on the cover. And it feels like that's what we're needing, and probably all the time, but especially after the past year and a half that we've been going through. I think many people are recognizing I need some healing, and it might be physical, but it probably is more emotional. I need some healing, and I need some hope. So this seminar is going to be taking place at the Stateline Seventh-day Adventist Church. Yes. It's actually, by the time we're doing our interview here, we'll have had a couple nights already taking place. But how can people find you for the seminar? What time? And
I'm not sure what kind of advertising has gone out or where the brochures are available, but we'll be at the Stateline Church every evening through next Wednesday, I think, Wednesday evening or something.
October 14, it looks like. Okay. 6:30 to 8:30.
Yes. And of course, on Saturday, we'll be there all day long from, I think, probably 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning.
9:30.
Through, I think,
We've got a 9:30 to 12, and then a 2 to 4 on Saturday, and a 2 to 4 on Sunday.
Yes.
So some extra times on the weekend when people have a little more free time usually.
Yes, and it doesn't make a big amount of difference if they miss one of the sessions. Feel free. Let them know they're free to come. They will gain some special insights no matter what session they attend.
Okay, that's really good to know. Now let's dig into a little bit of what's going to be happening at this seminar. So we are sensing, I know there's a lot of talk now among people and in the news about the anxieties that we're experiencing.
Yes.
So what kind of help can people expect to find?
Well, I started out in this journey when I was still in pastoral ministry, and I was dealing with people with depression and anxiety and anger issues and pride issues and struggles in human relationships besides the way they even thought about themselves. And this was the thought that went through my mind. Wait a minute, who created my brain? Well, it seems to me that the creator, the manufacturer, would know way better than anyone else how to repair it if there was a problem. And as we know, mental and spiritual struggles, which lead into depression and anxiety, all results of what's going on here.
Yes.
The Creator, Jesus Christ, He knows how to fix it. And if we can tap into His information, tap into His methods of healing and restoration, we're onto something that no psychologist, no psychiatrist, no mental health coach, counselor can accomplish in another human being. Mm-hmm. Because God can change the heart. He can fix the heart. And of course, according to medical science, the scientists say that the heart is talking about the frontal lobe, where your power of choice, your conscience, et cetera, is located.
Yes,
That's
part of our thinking.
We want to fix it, yes.
All right, so I know you can't give away everything that's going to be taking place in this seminar, but maybe you could share with us a couple of tips. For instance, I can give you an example that, I was just talking in the devotional about giving over our anxieties and cares to God, and this is a real thing for all of us. Even those of us who have grown up Christian, we're absolutely solid believers in Jesus, but we still struggle sometimes with, okay, how do I actually let go of my stresses and give them to Him?
Yeah, valid question. And I'll respond, first of all, with a question. Where do my struggles originate? In what part of my anatomy? In my knees, or in my elbows, or in my head?
Usually in my head.
If they happen in my head and I want to give them away, that means that it's absolutely necessary to actually be willing to change what I'm thinking, because it's in my thoughts that the problems arise.
Mm-hmm. So a change in thinking.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to take people through some steps in how to make that happen?
Yes, we will.
So I would assume that you've been able to talk with you and your wife, I'm sure, travels with you, but you've been able to work with and talk with a number of people. How long have you been kind of sharing these things?
We've been practicing biblical response therapy for about the last 15 years, besides the years in pastoral ministry before that.
Where you were preparing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So this has really become something that's very much on your heart, clearly. And how have you seen the need for this even increase over the last 18 months when we've been dealing with a global pandemic, we've been dealing with people in lockdown and other whatever term, isolation, terms that we want to use for us being more distant from each other. How have you seen the need grow even more during that time?
It's going to continue to grow. According to Luke 21:26, it says, as we near Christ's return, people's hearts are failing them for fear and looking after the things that are coming upon the earth, right?
Yes.
So according to God's word, He tells us that the troubles and trials and anxieties are going to increase and escalate towards the end. When Patsy and I first started working as spiritual health coaches, the wellness guests at the Lifestyle Center where we were working, the wellness guests had very few mental and spiritual struggles. They were there for a nice, healthy vacation in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Yes.
But in the years that we worked, we just saw a steady increase in people's struggles that were actually physically affecting them and making them sick enough to where they needed to come to a lifestyle center. They needed healing, and they were not getting it from the secular medical community. Mm-hmm. So
it's because it's not something you can give a medication for.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So it was really seeing that need then that caused you to specialize in this area.
Absolutely.
It's interesting that you point out that we can't look to the world just, getting better. There will be trials of one kind or another, and certainly when we read in the Bible with Jesus' words in both Matthew and Luke, and we look at Revelation, we can see that it shouldn't be a surprise that there would be stressors around us.
Yes, and see what's so amazing about this is the fact that people are turning to other human beings
to try to fix it.
To try fix it. And where are the other human beings who are going to fix it? Where are they getting their information?
Other humans.
From another human being. And where did that human being get his information? From another. Wait a minute. I don't know about you, but I've learned that there's a lot of distrust going on these days. Who do I trust to actually teach me what I'm supposed to think to bring healing and restoration to my emotions, the big one, the emotional healing?
Sure, certainly we are receiving mixed messages.
Oh my.
And we've even made jokes about it in my home that the message changes, the message changes so often.
Yes.
About what we should be doing or what's best. And I don't feel it's necessarily anyone's fault. It's just that humans trying to figure it out and not sure.
And God's got the answers.
He does. And that's going to be the focus, certainly, of your seminar.
Absolutely.
All the way through. So there must be a lot that you are sharing with people to have a seminar that began on October 6th and continues on through the 14th each evening. And it's okay if people drop in, you said?
It's okay. And it's okay if they bring their questions.
Very good.
Hopefully
is there a fee for this, or is it just you just come?
For anybody who attends, I do not believe they're charging anything whatsoever. Now, I will highly recommend my Biblical Response Therapy Training Manual, which will be available there.
Yes.
I also have a book out that just had came out just before COVID hit, called Unchained. Insights into mental and spiritual healing and health.
Yes. How to not feel chained down.
Actually, the name of the book is Unbound.
Unbound.
Unbound. Yes.
Yes. Very good. So, in other words, there are some resources that people would be able to purchase that will help them dig in even more deeply into these things. But they can just come and hear what you have to say at the seminar.
The reality is, because God has given us freedom of choice,
yes,
no human being can fix someone else. So in order for healing to happen, Psalms 107 verse 20 says this: He, the Lord, sent His word and healed them and delivered them from their destructions. Healing and deliverance from our destructions happen through the Word of God. That's something that every individual has to make a decision by faith, through the grace of God, by faith, to actually begin to actually practice.
Yes. It's put you in a very beautiful and unique position where you're there to share something about God and how good He is. You're not there to solve everyone's problem.
Can't do it. No.
Yeah.
But I can point them to the problem solver and give them the tools that will equip them, if they're interested, equip them to find healing and restoration.
And tools are important for that.
Very much so.
Yes. It helps us to know how to go about it. Very, very important. Well, Dan, I want to thank you so much for being my guest today. And I know that you're going to see some people at your seminar who were able to see our interview and come. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. It's time now for Station News. I have to tell you about some of the things that are happening at our new facility. First of all, we just found out that the construction permit that we've applied for is not going to cost nearly as much as we were imagining it would. So we don't have exact numbers yet, but this is a several $1,000s savings compared to what we were anticipating. So that's good news. And our volunteer engineer types, Jim and Keith, met with the county this morning and are continuing to go forward with this process. It's probably still going to take another 3 months or so before we have our full construction permit and are ready to make those changes at the new facility. But some very good news there. Also, what a wonderful thing has happened. We are able to give all of these parts of the building that we didn't need related to the baptistry to someone else. So we have the baptistry, the toilets, the showers, the sinks, all of these fixtures that we were wondering, what shall we do with these? How shall we dispose of them? We're being able to donate them to a Maranatha project. And this project is building a brand new church in Fulton, Missouri. And so in November, these items are going to be shipped to them. And yes, the Maranatha project is paying to have them shipped. So they're going to just come and get them from us and take them to be used in a brand new church building. So it's just such a joy for us that things that we don't need now that this isn't a church building anymore and it's becoming a television studio can be used in a church in Missouri. So we're going to be sharing more with you probably about that, as in fact it would be great to even get some updates about how things go when our stuff that we've been donated arrives there in Missouri. Also related to our new facility, we're really very grateful for all the volunteers who've been helping, and we have a big deal happening with that on October 20. In the morning on October 20, as part of Walla Walla University's Service Day, 6 to 8 students are going to be coming to our facility on Wallula Road and helping us with some of the deconstruction. We do have the permit for that portion, and we are going to be taking out some walls and doing just pulling out sheetrock and moving places that just don't need to be there anymore as we turn the area that used to be the sanctuary into a studio. So very, very grateful for these students who are going to be coming on their service day and helping us with this project. Volunteers are so important to Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association. And then our fall fundraiser is coming. You need to mark this on your calendar already. I know it's October and this isn't till November, but it's amazing how quickly a month flies by. So be sure to mark on your calendar November 7, 8, and 9. Those are the dates for fall fundraiser, and we're going to be live on the air from 6 to 10 p.m. on each of those evenings. And it would be impossible for me to emphasize strongly enough to you how important this event is for Blue Mountain Television. Now, you remember I was just telling you all that good news about the new facility, and it is. And we have a nice, it's not large, but we have a small nest egg of funds that you have already sent in that we're using to work on that project. The not so good news is that the operating funds at Blue Mountain Television have not been coming in at the level that they need to in order to keep the station going. And wouldn't we all be really reluctant and not feel so great about us having to borrow money out of the money we've set aside for the new project, the new building, if we had to borrow money out of that just to keep the station on the air? We don't want to do that. That would not be good. But we are coming to a situation at the station where that would have to happen if additional donations don't come in from you. So I'm coming to you with the straight story because I really want you to know that the need is urgent for us. Everyone's excited about the new building project. We really are, and we love the donations you've been giving toward that, and we still need those. But we must also have funds to keep Blue Mountain Television operating day by day into those operating funds. And so please, just pray about it, think about it, talk with other significant people in your family that you might need to speak with, and please make a special gift to the operating budget right now, this week, so that we can keep Blue Mountain Television going in the fiscally responsible, strong way that we should, not borrowing money out of our special funds in order to just keep the station on the air. So we need some extra funds for our operating budget. Of course, this fundraiser that we're having in the fall, in November, is going to be all about that operating budget. And so those 3 days are going to be extremely important for Blue Mountain Television. And I must tell you that we're having a very special guest for our fall fundraiser, James Rafferty. Most of you have probably heard of him. He's a wonderful speaker, and he's going to be here because he believes in the ministry of Blue Mountain Television. He's going to be sharing with us during those very special 3 days. So mark it on your calendar. Keep it in mind because some fun and exciting times are coming with Fall Fundraiser. And keep Blue Mountain Television and our needs for the operating budget utmost in your prayers. And also, if you could give a special gift right now, it would be so helpful. Thank you for watching the show today. I hope that it's been a blessing to you, and I will see you next time.